Good evening, everybody. Welcome back once again. Wow, 3 videos in one night. I was not expecting that. But I literally just got back from seeing Terrifier 2. And you know what? It's late. I'm not going to wait to get home to make this video. I'm just going to make it now while the movie's still fresh in my mind. Technically, the movie's still going on because they were showing like special features of like interviews with the director Damien Leone and the guy who plays Art the Clown, David Howard Thornton. But again, it's late. I got work starting at technically 3 o'clock in the morning tomorrow, so I mean I probably just screwed myself now, but oh well. So I guess getting right into the film, and holy cow, I'm gonna have to try really hard not to spoil this, because I really want, like, I don't want to spoil this for anyone. I want other people to go and see this one. Like, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw from like my other 2 videos of like of the Chucky season 2 premiere, or like especially the She-Hulk video with Daredevil, but like I was starting to get really tuckered out by the end of that one. But like seeing Terrifier 2, like that just basically gave me an adrenaline rush. Like it was just balls to the wall, incredibly gory, brutal. Holy cow! Like I don't know. I guess the best way to describe the movie is like if they took the already brutal like first movie and literally just dialed up everything to 11. Like, I don't know if I've said this before, but basically Art the Clown is basically every single slasher villain mixed with Pennywise, mixed with the Joker, and then just pumping him full of steroids. Like, holy cow! The movie was insane. Like, even the tamest kill in Terrifier 2, like, it is still leagues like more brutal and more gory than like the goriest kill in the first film. And like and so when the movie opens up, it basically like starts where the original one left off. Where, like, if you guys remember, it ended with Art's body being found in the morgue, but like something supernatural happens, and he resurrects, and he kills the coroner. Well, the opening to the film, like, it actually shows him killing the coroner. And oh man, it's just there were a lot of kills in this movie that, like, it made me wince. And like, I'm a guy who watches movies like Friday the 13th, Chucky, freaking Saw. Like, I binged those for fun. And there were some kills that were just so brutal, like, it actually made me cringe in the theater. But then on the flip side, like, and this is where I say, like, he's basically the Joker dialed up to 11. Like, matching Art's brutality is also his, like, dark humor, right? Like, even when he's killing someone, like, the mannerisms he does, like, it just makes me laugh. And I'm glad I wasn't the only one in the theater who, like, actually laughed out loud at the stuff that Art did. Like, I mean, I'm only gonna describe this kill because I don't consider it a spoiler because it happened at the very beginning. But the way that Art the Clown, like, kills the coroner, he, like, bashes his head in with, like, a medical hammer or something, and then gouges out his eye and puts it in his own eye socket. Because, like, at the end of the first movie, like, he shot himself in the head and he completely blew out one of his eyeballs. Well, in the second one, he gouges out the coroner's eyeball, puts it in his own face, and then goes like, "Hey, see, look at me!" Like he's got a new eyeball. and then he proceeds like to basically split the dude's cranium. Like I said, the movie was gory as hell. Like, again, it's basically like the original one dialed up to 11. Like, you get more kills. Well, I think it's more kills. I can't remember. But the kills are definitely gorier. But holy cow, I don't really know what else I can say without like spoiling this movie. Like, the protagonists were great. The main character Sienna was like, the level of punishment she took in that film was, I mean, honestly astounding. Like, honestly, I think she's honestly, I think she's a contender to be like my favorite like horror movie protagonist. And like for a while, my fan favorite has been like Andy Barclay, and then right after that was like Laurie Strode. But like, just after seeing Terrifier 2, I honestly think that the character of Sienna would honestly probably trump them, just because of just the sheer level of like brutality that she had to face, and just like the raw pain and suffering that she went through. Like, honestly, it really does it really does dwarf like literally everyone that every other horror movie protagonist that I've seen so far. But wow, I don't know. I don't know what to say about this. I mean, you know, I guess since, screw it, since I'm still driving, I guess I'll talk about spoilers, because why not? So I guess I'm gonna give you guys about 10 seconds to like just pause the video, find a time to watch the movie yourself. I honestly don't know what theaters it's showing in. I mean, I had to go out of town just to see it. Like, that's why I'm driving right now, and that's why I watched it tonight, because like, if you guys remember from one of my previous videos, I talked about getting a second job as a scare actor at my local amusement park, which is also out of town from where I live. But tonight was the one night that I could actually see this movie, and you know what? Screw it, I took that. But, oh man. I mean, I guess speaking of my scare acting job, like, I like to think that I'm sort of look at like Art the Clown's mannerisms as an inspiration for my scare acting job. Like, obviously not actually killing people, but like, you know, some of the way that he acts and like walks around. And, I mean, like, obviously, like, because like, so in my job, like, the role I play as is like a clown. I've described it as like a methed up Joker a couple times, mostly because of like the long stringy green hair on the mask that I wear. But I mean, like, last week when I reviewed Terrifier, like the original one, I actually looked at I actually rewatched that movie partially so that I could like get ideas for what I could do for like my scare acting job. And well, it's kind of funny that I watched Terrifier 2 tonight, because like I go back to work at that scare acting job tomorrow afternoon. But again, I just think it's funny, because like, I mean, I kind of looked at Art the Clown and partially the Joker and partially Chucky, like, to really figure out like what my character is, how he acts, how he behaves, like all that stuff. So, I don't know, it was nice that I got to see Terrifier 2 in theaters. Hopefully I'm able to get it on Blu-ray eventually. But Okay, so time for spoilers. So, like, again, the movie begins like basically where the first one left off. Art the Clown gets resurrected. He murders the coroner. He goes to this laundromat, and like he sees this little demon girl that I think is the one who resurrected him. But they kind of leave it open-ended, I guess. And then like he kills the guy at the laundromat. And the next like, big chunk of the movie is spent with like Sienna just finishing up her costume, the one where like I honestly think she looks like a Valkyrie or an angel or like something. I don't know. I'm trying to. I'm spitballing here because I don't exactly know. We get a little bit of backstory to Art the Clown, sort of. Like, it turns out that that Sienna's father, which, by the way, the other protagonist is her brother Jonathan. Sienna and Jonathan's father, like, he drew sketches of Art the Clown as well as, like, the bodies from the very first movie. And, like, it was in vivid detail, too. And I'll be honest, like, ever since that first trailer dropped and, like, it was talking about how, like, Sienna would have some sort of connection to Art the Clown, I honestly thought... Excuse me. I honestly thought that that Art the Clown would be revealed to be like Sienna's father. And the reason I'm saying this now is because that's not the case. Like, they still didn't exactly reveal who or what Art the Clown is. But Sienna finishes up her costume. She has this like nightmare of like Art the Clown killing a bunch of people at this like weird, like basically knockoff McDonald's, kind of. And then like somehow a fire that gets started in her dream by Art somehow transfers over to the real world, which I'm guessing is the result of that little demon girl who I guess she's like Freddy Krueger, sort of. I don't know, there's really not a lot to go off of, like, until Art starts killing again. Which, speaking of, like, the kills are great. He kills this one guy at, like, a Spirit Halloween knockoff that, like, then he poses with the head in front of, like, this little kid. Which, again, like, the dark humor is just on point. Like, again, I'm glad that I was not the only one who was laughing my ass off in the theater. Like, basically every time Art was on screen, he just chewed scenery. And, like, he didn't even talk. It was... I don't know, it was such a great movie. But anyway, so... at one point, like... it shows that one, like, interview between the survivor of the first movie, like, Victoria, and then, like, that one talk show host, Monica. Well, like, it's shot from, like, Art the Clown's perspective, where, like, he's working on stuff, and, like, it actually shows him working on it. And then, like, you know, he smashes the TV, like, in the first one. I will say, they did update the makeup on Victoria, where, like, if you guys remember in the first movie, like, the right eye that she had was basically black with a white pupil, sort of. And, well, they updated it to, like, where the face actually shows, like, the rotting teeth or something. And then, like, the right eye is actually, like, you know, an eyeball instead of, like, just a black orb. Which, I guess, the result of a bigger budget. Anyway, so Sienna and Jonathan go to school. Jonathan sees Art and the little demon girl playing with a dead possum in the school. Like, he gets blamed for it. Sienna and her friends talk about that talk show host who apparently did not die at the beginning of the first movie, which I honestly thought she would after getting, like, you know, basically mauled to death by Victoria, but okay, I guess that's not the case. But so all that happens. Oh, speaking of, I'm gonna have to double check this at some point, but I'm pretty sure that even though that Terrifier 2 came out in 2022, I'm pretty sure that most of it was shot in like 2019 or 2020, because one of Jonathan's friends, he's played by the same kid in the Cobra Kai TV show. The kid who's like Daniel LaRusso's son, Anthony. And I specifically remember in like seasons 1 through 3, like he's like this little chubby kid. And then in seasons 4 and 5 he got a growth spurt. But like in Terrifier 2, like the little screen time he had shows that like he's still like that chubby little fat kid. Like, you know, before he switched over to Whopper Juniors, as Johnny Lawrence said. But anyway, so that was cool to see him have a little cameo outside of Cobra Kai. Speaking of cameos, for those of you who have watched Sleepaway Camp, Felissa Rose has a cameo as a teacher at the school, but unfortunately she's only in there for like a few minutes. I mean, that was still nice though. But so after the school, like they talk with their mom about like the whole sketchbook and how the dad was doing stuff about drawing stuff about like Art the Clown, and maybe like he knew that like someone needed to rise up and kill him or something, I don't know. Sorry, gotta stay awake on the road. Ugh. Anyway, so after school, like again, the movie is a bit of a blur before the kills really pick up. Like, Sienna eventually like puts on her costume. She goes to a party. She goes to a party with one of her friends because the other one, like, she gets brutally murdered by Art. Like, and like it's really brutal. Like he uses a scalpel or something to cut off the top of her head. He literally rips one of her arms off, and then he splits like her hand like down the middle vertically, and then he like rubs alcohol and salt into like all of her wounds. I think rips open her back or something like that. And then when her mom finds her, like, she's still alive. Like, I can't stress this enough. This movie was like, it was brutal to the nth degree, and I might actually use that for the title. But oh man. So, you know, Art kills one of Sienna's friends. Kills the mom too, off screen, but the next time we see him, like, he's passing out candy to kids. And again, this made me laugh. He uses the mother's severed head as a candy bowl, which, yeah, I wish I could find other people that I know to watch this with me, because like it's starting to feel weird when I'm watching these movies alone, and I'm actually laughing at the dark humor, and like, oh man. So after all that happens, Sienna goes to like this party with her friends, gets basically plastered drunk. Turns out her friend slipped her some Molly as well. But then she starts seeing that little demon girl, right? Meanwhile, back at home, Art the Clown like brutally kills Sienna's mom like with a shotgun, and like just like in the first film, they make a firearm kill even gorier than they already are in regular films. Like it's insane. Like, the shotgun blast, like, when we see it later in the movie, like, it completely splits her face apart. Which, I mean, I know we've seen that before. Like, I mean, just in last year's James Gunn's Suicide Squad, like, we saw Pete Davidson's face get completely torn off by a shotgun blast. But, like, it was really quick and sudden, kind of like that. Meanwhile, like, in Terrifier 2, like, it's very vivid and detailed. But, you know, Art being his usual self, like, he basically parades around like he's like a stay-at-home mom, throws some food in, like, the gaping hole that's supposed to be Sienna's mom's mouth. Then he captures Jonathan. And then, like, the little demon girl, like, apparently, like, some people can't see her, some people can, but she's able to actually interact with, like, actual objects in the real world. And she mimics Jonathan's voice to lure Sienna to, like, this amusement park, and lures her into a theme park ride that's called the Terrifier, which I guess that's where they got the name for the movies. But so Sienna and her friend go there after Art the Clown kills Sienna's friend's boyfriend, if that will make sense. And, like, he brutally kills him. Like, he full on castrates him. Like, without getting too detailed into that. And then he brutally murders Sienna's friend by, like, throwing acid onto her and then beating her with like, this makeshift, like, nail bat, which, like, it's not actually a bat. I think it was part of a table leg with all these sharp edges attached to it. Like, he basically goes full Negan on her, and then, like, he rips open her rib cage and, like, eats the freaking heart. And, like, I mean, I remember reading some horror novels and stuff where, like, that kind of stuff happens. Like, Edgar Allan Poe's The Telltale Heart comes to mind. Like, obviously he didn't eat the heart or anything, but like, just to actually see that kind of thing on screen, like, again, that was another thing that made me actually wince a bit. But Sienna eventually finds her friend. Art the Clown, like, he brutally beats the crap out of her. Like, and, like, at that point, like, you can tell, like, he's just playing with his food. But he uses, like, this makeshift cat o' nine tails whip that he had in the first film. He basically destroys her body. Same with Jonathan's. Like, there is one thing that I didn't really care for in this movie. Like, there were so many fake outs where, like, I thought for sure that Art was gonna kill both Sienna and Jonathan multiple times in this movie. But it never happened. Somehow they always come back. The last time, like, I honestly thought that, like, he literally pushed Sienna into hell, which is actually probably exactly what happened, but, like, somehow she makes it. She actually gets out of there alive. Somehow Art got a hold of this sword that was part of Sienna's costume that she didn't bring with her, which I guess Art might have taken it with him after he killed their mom. But I don't think I ever saw him take it, sorry. But I don't know, so eventually she gets a hold of the knife, like, at least one of her wounds heals, and, like, she uses the sword to, like, just freaking decapitate him, which he lets it happen, by the way. He actually moves his hands to allow her to do it. Then the little demon girl shows up and, like, takes the head away. And like the movie basically, well, the movie doesn't end because there is a post-credit scene, but like before the credits roll, it literally just has Sienna and Jonathan like just hugging each other in the amusement park, and the demon girl walks away with the head. So that's how their part of the story ends. Now the post-credit scene, like, I mean, and like it's longer than like an MCU post-credit scene. So whenever you guys see it, make sure that you've used the bathroom. Like, don't do what I did, because I had to hold it like for a while. But the post-credit scene like jumps back to the survivor of the first movie, Victoria, the one with like the partially eaten face, where like she's basically making like blood art, to put it one way. And then like and again, like, I'm gonna give you guys another 10 seconds to pause the video, at the very least, to prepare yourselves for this one. But after writing on the walls of like the psychiatric cell with her own blood, Victoria keels over and gives birth to Art the Clown's head, the same one that got severed. So I'm not entirely sure what that means for Terrifier 3, if that's how he regenerates. But ugh. I mean, I do kind of wish that like Victoria's scene like wasn't relegated to just a cameo in the post-credit scene, because like, I mean, she was shown in the trailers, so like I thought at the very least like she'd have one scene towards the beginning of it, but whatever. I mean, I think there were talks that there is going to be a Terrifier 3, so Art isn't fully gone, obviously. I don't know where they're gonna go from there, or like if Sienna's gonna return with, same with Jonathan. And there was a lot of different ways this could have gone, because again, like I thought that Art the Clown was gonna be revealed to be Sienna's father, and like he just got cursed or something. Or I thought that like after Art the Clown got killed, like Jonathan would become cursed because he was the first person aside from Art who saw the little demon girl. But I was actually pleasantly surprised that like they didn't go any of those routes, that like it wasn't that predictable. I mean, obviously the kills were predictable, like you could tell like from a mile away like who was gonna get killed and when. But other than that, like it was really enjoyable, and that like it still kept you on your toes, because like again, I thought so many times that Art was gonna kill Sienna, but I was pleasantly surprised that didn't happen. So, where they go from there, I don't know. Outside of the movie itself, though, I'm glad I got to see him film. I'm glad it got made, because again, it turns out that I was actually right, that the first Terrifier movie was made on like a shoestring budget of just $35,000. And well, I mean, I think Damien Leone, like the director, that like he's probably gonna become one of my favorite directors, and a little bit of an inspiration too, because like, I mean, I consider like some of my favorite directors as being like Rob Zombie, Sam Raimi, those kind of guys, where like they don't really let anything stop them. Like, I mean, Sam Raimi made the original Evil Dead because he literally just said with Bruce Campbell, like, you know what, let's just make the movie ourselves. And I'm pretty sure that Rob Zombie was the same way. Like, he wanted to make a movie his own way, and like he did it like with his own style. And it's clear that Damien Leone did the same thing here. I mean, like, I mean, come on, Terrifier 2 is 2.5 hours long. Like, I'm willing to bet that nothing was laid to rest on the cutting room floor, and I love that. I mean, did it go a little bit long? Sure, but you know what? I mean, I think both movies were mostly crowdfunded, and you know what? He gave the fans what they wanted. That's awesome. But it's very nice because, like, to be honest, like back when I made that Numbskull the Clown short a couple years ago, like Art the Clown actually was a little bit of an inspiration for that character. Same with Pennywise, of course, and Joker. But like mostly Art the Clown, because like I just watched the original Terrifier like not too long ago after that. But okay, I'm running out of things to say, and you know what? I'm running out of road too. So I guess to summarize, because like I could talk about this movie for days. Like, I'm gonna be talking about it with some friends tomorrow, probably in the next couple days. But this film was fantastic. It was brutal as hell. I do wish that they explained a little bit more about like Art the Clown and like the little demon girl that brought him back. I do kind of wish that they explained a little bit more on like where Sienna and like her brother fit into all this. Hopefully they explain it in Terrifier 3, like if they ever use those characters again. If not, then oh well. But I don't know. Even if this is the last film in the franchise, like say we don't get a Terrifier 3, I will honestly be okay with that. Because like, I mean, come on. Movies always end on cliffhangers, especially horror movies, and like they don't really get resolved. They leave it open-ended. Like I'd honestly be okay with it if like they ended like on the bang that they did here. But I don't know, if you're a fan of the original Terrifier, definitely go see it. If you're a fan of horror movies and black comedies, go see it. And like, I mean, obviously, if you're a bit squeamish around horror movies and like just black humor, like you probably shouldn't go and check it out. At the very least, like bring someone with you that does, because I mean, this was obviously like a movie made for the fans of the original. Oh, and speaking of, I didn't even talk about like the technical stuff. Like the music was great. There was a lot of callbacks like to the old movies like Halloween, the original one, by the way. It still kept that little grimy grindhouse feel with the grain and the saturation that was in the original. And like, again, like I quickly warmed up to it in the first one, and like by the time the second movie came out, like I just loved it the whole time. The acting, like in my opinion, was way better than the first. Like it didn't feel like flat or anything. Like it felt like they put a little bit more effort into the acting, which I mean, the acting in the original was okay, but like it was still hit or miss. And there are a couple scenes where they are a little bit hit or miss here, but like overall the acting was pretty good. Art the Clown is like both brutal and funny at the same time. Oh man. Yeah, I just don't know what else to say about it. So it's getting late. I'm almost home. I'm literally a block away from where I park. So I don't know. To cap it all off, great movie. It'll definitely make you squirm. Like even if you're really hardened against like the gory horror films, and like who knows, you might get a laugh or two out of it. What the hell? Anyway,
You guys all have a good one. Have a nice night. Goodbye.